while at that, let me welcome you once again, most warmly to our learning and networking session. Today, we have assembled here to be able to receive on the topic, strengthening relationships between Parliament and civil society organizations through the principles of parliamentary openness. And the one to help us with this will be our very own good friend, Regina Oforiwa Manfo. Regina is a senior program officer at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, West Parliament. At this point, may I ask a translator and then you continue in that order?
All right. Should I go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So we're going to discuss a very, very important theme, strengthening Parliament and civil society organizations' relationship through principles of open Parliament. This is how I have outlined the presentation. I will give brief background and then touch on the work of civil society with Parliament, and then discuss key open Parliament principles, and then the main issue, strengthening relationship between civil society organizations and Parliament.
Ok, bonsoir à tous. C'est de la part de Regina Amofo depuis, depuis là où elle est. Bien, elle est en train de prendre en charge le deuxième volet de l'atelier d'apprentissage et de réseautage pour les organisations de la société civile travaillant avec les parlements. Donc, elle est en train de nous dire qu'elle va développer le thème « Comment renforcer les relations avec les organisations de la société civile et le Parlement ». Donc, elle a déjà commencé avec le plan de son développement. Elle a déjà commencé avec le plan. Bon, ça ne s'affiche pas encore. Le plan, dans son plan, il y a d'abord... Bon,
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you can go.
all right, okay, thank you. So we know the existence of civil society organizations started in Africa back in the colonial period when members were actually agitating or fighting the colonial powers for independence. Even though the work of civil society organizations started then, it is the past 3 decades that as civil society organizations, we have been able to participate deeply in political and development processes.
Ok, donc elle est en train de dire que bon, l'origine réelle des organisations de la société civile date depuis bien longtemps et que ça a commencé depuis les mouvements nationaux pour la libération, pour la liberté et tout ça. Donc, mais depuis lors, la vraie existence des OSC a été reconnue dernièrement, durant ces 3 dernières décennies. La vraie existence des OSC a été reconnue durant ces 3 dernières décennies et qu'elles ont pu participer de manière visible au processus politique et de développement de leur pays. Yeah.
Okay. So, civil society's work or participation in political and development processes came very possible due to the transition in many African countries from military rule and dictatorship to multi-party systems. And multi-party systems actually provided us a larger platform and accorded us legitimacy to governance institutions that actually see popular participation a way to justify alternative politics.
Bon, elle est en train de dire que dans beaucoup de pays africains, dans de nombreux pays africains, la transition qui a été faite du régime militaire et de la dictature vers les systèmes de multipartisme a donné aux organisations de la société civile une plus large plateforme, une plus grande étendue et leur a accordé beaucoup plus de légitimité en ce qui concerne les institutions de gouvernance et beaucoup plus de ces organisations-là ont trouvé dans la participation populaire un moyen de justifier ce qu'on peut qualifier de politique alternative. Yes.
So for the past 30 years and over, civil society organizations have played very crucial role in supporting democratic development and consolidation in most African countries.
Donc, au cours des 30 dernières années, au cours des 3 dernières décennies, les OSC ont joué un rôle très important. Ils ont joué un rôle très important et un rôle très crucial, essentiel dans le soutien à la gouvernance, à la démocratie, dans la plupart des pays africains. Donc, et puis, l'une de ces principales institutions-là, les organisations civiles, travaillent et collaborent avec le Parlement en ce qui concerne certains pays africains. Yes, Miss. Miss Regina, you can go.
So civil society organizations have performed so many functions in the past 3 decades.
Okay. Elle dit que les OSC ont eu à faire un travail très important en ce qui concerne les 3 dernières décennies. Yes.
What are these functions that they have performed so far and continue to do?
OK, donc, quelles sont donc ces fonctions-là? Quelles sont donc les activités que les OSC ont vraiment tenues et qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Yes, Miss. Yeah, Miss Regina, you can go. Hello. Miss Regina, can you get this?
Yeah. Hello, Jaina.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, all right. So according to a survey conducted by CDD Ghana somewhere in 2014, which was updated through a DEX review in 2021, the findings indicate that most civil society organizations across Africa commit their time, resources to engage parliaments, members of parliament, and structures directly related to the work of parliament.
Ok, good. Elle est en train de nous expliquer que selon une étude conduite par le CDD du Ghana, c'est le Centre de développement démocratique du Ghana en 2014, et qui a été mise à jour en 2021, selon ce qu'on est en train de dire, que les organisations de la société civile donnent beaucoup plus de leur temps donnent beaucoup plus de leur temps, de leurs ressources à engager les parlements, les membres du Parlement, les députés et les structures qui sont directement rattachées au Parlement. Yes.
Okay. So civil society organizations provide opportunity for interaction or for citizens and parliaments to interact. And this has helped to achieve the following things that I'll be talking about.
OK. Les organisations de la société civile permettent à la population ces organisations-là permettent beaucoup plus à la population d'interagir, d'avoir une interaction avec le Parlement et ils réalisent en quelque peu certains objectifs qu'elle va nous définir maintenant. Yes, Miss.
So civil society organizations serve as vehicle through which citizens are able to demand accountability and effect ensure transparency from their parliaments.
OK. Donc, les organisations de la société civile, les OSC, servent de vecteurs, aux populations pour, dans ce sens qu'ils arrivent à demander des comptes à leur Parlement et à assurer aussi ce qu'on appelle l'ouverture parlementaire, la transparence. Yes.
So, for instance, Social Watch in Benin helps citizens to engage with their parliamentarians so that they can raise issues and concerns about their constituencies and then help to get solution to these issues.
OK. Donc, ce qu'elle vient de définir dans son premier point, son premier objectif, elle donne l'exemple de Social Watch Benin, qui engage les parlementaires à donner de compte à la population et puis à assurer aussi une transparence parlementaire.
Good.
Yes.
Again, civil society organizations empower citizens to demand accountability and contribute to citizens' oversight responsibility of Parliament.
OK. Les OSC donnent cette force-là à la population ou donnent ce pouvoir à la population à rendre des comptes ou à mettre de leur contribution à la vie des citoyens, beaucoup plus la responsabilité de surveillance de leur parlement respectif. Yes, Miss.
Again, civil society conducts civic education and raises citizens' awareness about the work of parliaments, national policies, and also citizens' rights and responsibilities.
OK. Toujours dans ce que les OSC font, leur travail au sein du Parlement, elle nous dit que ces OSC-là offrent ce qu'on appelle une éducation et ils sensibilisent les citoyens à un travail bien fait par les parlements respectifs de leur pays, aux politiques de leur nation et à leur droit de responsabilité. Yes.
Okay. So you see civil society organizations educating citizens on their voting rights, the need for them to participate in elections, the need for them to exercise their rights to association, freedom of speech, the right that citizens have to demonstrate on issues that they are not happy about.
OK, donc les organisations de la société civile aident les citoyens à se faire entendre au niveau du Parlement, que ce soit en ce qui concerne leur droit de vote, que ce soit en ce qui concerne l'acquisition du droit d'expression, que ce soit en ce qui concerne la liberté démocratique et bien d'autres choses. Ça aussi, c'est ce que les OSC font au sein du Parlement. Yes, Miss.
Civil society organizations also conduct painstaking research and then conduct also monitoring and evaluating of government programs through social audits, citizens report cards, or participatory expenditure tracking systems. And all these are to strengthen Parliament oversight role. They share this information with Parliament to strengthen their understanding and how implementation of policies, government policies are going, so they can perform their oversight responsibilities effectively and efficiently.
OK. Les OSC, en partie aussi, entreprennent ou conduisent des enquêtes, conduisent des recherches. Et ces recherches-là, c'est beaucoup plus dans le suivi et l'évaluation des programmes du gouvernement. Ils font cela au moyen de certaines vérifications sociales, des fiches d'enquête, des fiches de recherche et des systèmes participatifs au suivi des dépenses. Et tout ça, c'est pour renforcer le rôle de surveillance du Parlement. Tout ce que les OSC font en ce qui concerne la conduite des enquêtes, la conduite des recherches, c'est pour renforcer le rôle de surveillance au sein du Parlement. Yes, Miss.
And civil society organizations conduct training and capacity enhancement for members of Parliament and parliamentary service staff in several areas to strengthen the work of the legislature.
OK, good. Les OSC font aussi des offres de formation aux parlementaires, aux députés et aussi au personnel de services parlementaires, comme l'a dit tantôt ici, le réseau des journalistes parlementaires. En ce qui concerne leur soutien technique, ils donnent aussi ces genres de formation-là à ces organes affiliés au Parlement et tout ça pour renforcer le travail qu'ils font à l'Assemblée. Yes, Miss.
And I must say this function of civil society is very, very important because parliaments are the only institution that people come with their popularity and resources, but there's no specific educational qualification for members. So members come to Parliament with diverse background. And civil society organizations capacity training actually help them to be able to deliberate on important policy issues.
OK, donc elle dit que cette partie-là du travail des organisations de la société civile est la partie la plus importante parce que les parlementaires sont beaucoup plus élus au Parlement avec des backgrounds divers. Ils n'ont pas de spécialisation dans un domaine précis. Donc, cette partie-là d'offres de formation que les organisations de la société civile font constitue la pièce maîtresse de ce qu'ils font au Parlement. Donc, au cours de ces formations-là, ils aident les parlementaires à avoir maintenant une spécialisation dans un domaine précis et ainsi pourront répondre aux demandes de la population. Yes.
Civil society also, organizations also help with budget review analysis to support the review of national budgets by the legislature.
OK. Les organisations de la société civile font aussi ce qu'on appelle l'examen du budget. Ils font un examen du budget et tout ça, c'est pour apporter une aide au budget de la nation par l'Assemblée ou par la législature. Yes.
Okay. Again, they also provide expert information or knowledge to support the work of parliamentary select committees. So, for instance, EREP in Benin, that is economically focused organization, civil society organization, conduct research in this area, share the information with the parliament and parliamentary select committees to aid them in their discussion or deliberation over policy issues that will help the people.
Donc, les OSC aussi contribuent à une formation spécialisée, comme elle l'a dit tantôt, pour apporter une aide au travail des comités spéciaux qu'il y a dans les parlements, comme au travail des comités spéciaux qu'il y a dans les assemblées nationales, beaucoup plus pour les affaires d'inclusion sociale. Yes.
Further, civil society organizations also collaborate with members of parliament to undertake constituency engagement to educate citizens on issues affecting them.
Donc, les OSI aussi font une collaboration avec les parlementaires. Et ça, c'est pour beaucoup plus un travail dans l'engagement dans les circonscriptions afin de donner une éducation propice aux citoyens sur les questions qui les touchent vraiment. Quand il y a un travail qui se tient au Parlement, c'est beaucoup plus les citoyens qui sont touchés parce que c'est une représentation des citoyens qui forment le Parlement, donc l'Assemblée nationale. Yes, Miss.
So in a summary, these are some of the functions that civil society organizations have been performing to support the legislature or parliament. If you look at these functions, civil society organizations are only helping for parliament to be opened to citizens and also to civil society organizations.
OK. Donc, en quelque peu, voilà ce que font les OSC comme travail. Et ce qu'ils font comme travail, c'est beaucoup plus pour aider la population, beaucoup plus pour aider à une transparence législative afin d'avoir les informations requises et pour la population et aussi pour les organisations de la société civile. Yes.
Okay. So civil society have been helping parliaments to be open to the people with the work that they do. So what are the key principles of Open Parliament Declaration? I will highlight a few of them.
OK. Donc, elle est en train de rappeler que les OSC travaillent à aider beaucoup plus à une transparence du Parlement. Maintenant, quels sont les...
Hello? 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 So hello? Hello? So one key principle of open parliament is promoting a culture of openness.
Ok, donc l'un des principes essentiels du Parlement, de la transparence parlementaire, c'est de promouvoir une culture ouverte, une culture d'ouverture.
And this
Yes.
principle actually commands Parliament to make parliamentary information available to the people. Hello?
Ok, donc ce premier principe essentiel du Parlement ouvert stipule que l'information du Parlement appartient au public et au public seul. Les parlementaires étant des représentants de la population au Parlement, ce principe de culture d'ouverture appartient uniquement au public et donc des mesures doivent être mises en place pour assurer une participation citoyenne beaucoup plus importante. Yes.
Again, another principle is advancing a culture of openness through legislation.
L'autre principe essentiel du Parlement ouvert, c'est la promotion d'une culture d'ouverture par la législation.
And this principle actually mandates parliaments to pass laws and also have internal rules of procedure that will create a very good environment for citizens' right to government and parliamentary information that promote transparency, safeguard freedom of expression, and also the right to assembly and ensure engagement in the legislative processes.
Ok. Donc, ce principe de promotion d'une culture d'ouverture par la législation est beaucoup plus en train de parler de comment est-ce que les lois et les règles de procédure parlementaire qui sont internes peuvent créer une atmosphère, un bon environnement en ce qui concerne le droit des citoyens à l'information du gouvernement. Donc, c'est ce qu'elle est beaucoup plus en train de dire.
Again, men are also expected to.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
We've been able to solve the problem. Hello.
Yes.
Please, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
We've been able to solve the problem, so there can be a simultaneous interpretation. So you don't have to pause.
Okay.
And so we can go on flow.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. That's fine. Thanks.
Welcome.
So also as a principle of open parliament, parliament is expected to pass laws that will ensure that government acts in a very transparent manner. Parliaments are also supposed to engage citizens and civil society organizations. So Parliament, they have a duty, national assemblies have duty to actively interact with civil society organizations without discrimination. So if civil society organizations in the country are supposed to, Parliament is planning to engage civil society organizations, they are supposed to invite all civil society organizations. They are not supposed to discriminate, and they have to engage them in parliamentary processes, and also decision-making in order to effectively represent citizens' interests and to give right to citizens to also petition their government. Protecting an independent civil society organization. So as part of the open parliament principle, parliament have responsibility to enact laws or put measures in place that will ensure that civil society organizations have the right atmosphere to operate without any restrictions. They are also supposed to provide enabling effective parliamentary monitoring. So Parliament recognizes the rights and duties of civil society organizations, media, and the general public to monitor Parliament. So if a civil society organization and you are monitoring Parliament, you haven't done anything wrong. The open Parliament principle actually mandates the legislature to create that atmosphere for civil society organizations to monitor their work. We are also supposed to, as part of the principles, Parliament are supposed to adopt policies on parliamentary transparency. Yes.
Yes, we are very sorry. We seem to be having some internet challenges at where we are having the program now. So please, we would have to resort back to what we were doing, the interpretation. So as you speak, then we get the interpretation, then we can move on. We are very sorry. Thank you.
So I was saying that as a key principle of open parliament is that Parliament is supposed to recognize the rights and duties of civil society organizations, media, and the general public to monitor Parliament and parliamentarians. So as civil society organizations, as part of our work, we monitor Parliament and that we are doing the right thing. Parliament's supposed to support our work as we monitor the work that they are doing. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Sorry. Hello, Jana. You can go ahead. Yes, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So another key principle is that Parliament is supposed to adopt policies on parliamentary transparency. And should I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Parliament needs to adopt policies that will promote proactive dissemination of information. And I say currently because of technology, it's easy for parliaments to engage in dissemination of information proactively. It should be in the language that the people actually understand. And I'm not sure of other parliament, but in Ghana here, the mode of communication is English. So all parliamentary information that you get in English, and I guess in Benin it's also same. It will be in French, but as part of the key principle, Parliament is supposed to put policies in place that will ensure that citizens who are in need of parliamentary information get it on time. Parliaments are also supposed to publish records of committee proceedings. And I must say in Ghana, in terms of committee proceedings, is not open to the public, and civil society organizations are not allowed to participate in committee meetings unless you have been invited by the committee. Currently, there is some kind of standing orders review that is, the Parliament of Ghana is currently reviewing its own internal rules. And one key area that they are thinking of changing is actually those one to be in line with the principles of open parliament, where they will actually allow committee meetings to be open. I must add that apart from few committees, Public Accounts Committee and Appointment Committee, the rest of them, their engagements are not in public. Parliaments are also supposed to record parliamentary votes, and minimizing the use of voice voting in plenary, and encourage the use of roll call or electronic voting, and making records of this available to the public. Unfortunately, we don't have this, and it is one area that as civil society organizations, we've also proposed to the legislature to be working on. I think in other countries, like maybe Benin, maybe it's the same, I'm not sure. So I would like to hear from members on that. Publishing records created by Parliament, and the principle demands that all reports created by the legislature or required to be submitted to Parliament shall be made public in their entirety, except where it is against the law. So in Ghana here, all parliamentary proceedings, reports that are shared at the plenary or on the floor of Parliament is a public document, is open. There are some information, maybe information that has to do with security, that is what is restricted. So those one, and I think in all parliaments they have Hansard. So legislators' information are actually available for citizens.
Ok, good. Bon, on était en train de travailler quand la connexion a eu un défaut. Elle est là sur le point de comment est-ce que le Parlement doit jouer sa participation active en ce qui concerne la publication de tout ce qui a été voté comme loi ou de tout ce qui a été donné au Parlement en tant que vote. Donc, elle est en train de dire que le Parlement doit normalement divulguer exactement, ou beaucoup plus les médias parlementaires doivent beaucoup plus divulguer exactement ce qui a été dit au cours des réunions, au cours des sections. Donc, ces rapports-là qui ont été créés par le Parlement, tous ces rapports doivent être rendus publics à la population dans leur intégralité. Parce que quand vous donnez une information qui touche et que l'information n'est pas rendue intégrale, ça affecte. Et la population étant représentée au Parlement par les parlementaires, quand il y a une décision qui est prise là-bas et qu'on doit relayer cette information, que cette information soit rendue et relayée intégralement comme il a été fait à l'Assemblée. Donc, c'est sur ce point-là qu'elle est, et puis elle est en train de développer. Yes, Ms. Regina, you can go.
Okay, so another key principle is that Parliament is supposed to provide information on the national budgets. So this will help the citizens or civil society organization to have access to these budgets. And then on execution is based and contrast with the public in a very simple language that will help citizens to understand. So even though it should be available for citizens, but it should be in a language that citizens will understand. Disclosing assets and ensuring the integrity of members, and this is another key principle, is to help promote transparency and also accountability and promote integrity of members of parliament. For us in Ghana here, we have a law that allows members of parliament to declare their assets as soon as they assume office as members of parliament. Unfortunately, it is not public in the sense that you put everything in an envelope and seal it and deposit it with the is the Attorney General, Accountant General. So nobody knows what you have put in there. But as part of the open parliament principle, parliaments are being asked to make sufficient information on assets disclosures, parliamentary expense, and their non-parliamentary income, among others, to help citizens make informed judgment regarding the integrity and probity of members of parliament.
Ok. Donc, le point suivant, c'était par rapport à l'information qui doit être relayée à la population en ce qui concerne le budget et les dépenses de la nation. Donc, elle nous dit que ce budget-là, ce budget national, doit être en quelque sorte déposé quelque part où la population, les citoyens, les organisations de la société civile doivent en être au courant, doivent découvrir ce budget-là. Et puis même qu'au Ghana, là-bas, il y a une loi selon laquelle même quand vous relayez et que vous ne voulez pas que votre nom sorte, selon les principes de transparence législative de là-bas, vous pouvez faire le rapport complet, mais personne ne saurait que c'est vous. Mais selon les principes de transparence législative qu'ils ont, ils doivent faire ressortir ce budget-là, faire ressortir les dépenses afin que la population soit au courant de ce qui s'est réellement passé au cours d'une année ou bien comment ça se fait. Yes.
Okay. So another principle also is that Parliament is supposed to disclose information on ethical conduct and potential conflict of interest. So Parliament enact clear rules to ensure disclosure of information necessary to protect against perceived or actual conflicts of interest and ethical violations. And on this particular principle, I think it is important for members of Parliament who are interested in taking additional responsibilities. So those who have professions that they want to continue to practice, they have to make that disclosure to the leadership or to the speaker for them to get the necessary permission to go ahead and do that, so that there will be no conflict of interest or unethical violations. Hello. Hello? Hello? Okay, so Parliament is also supposed to use language that the people or the citizens will understand. The citizens with diverse backgrounds. So we have people who are visually impaired. How Parliament is supposed to put their information in a format that will enable visually impaired individuals to access the information. Proceedings in the House also, we have people who are speech impaired. Parliament is supposed to put measures in place to ensure that such ones also benefit from parliamentary information. With these principles, and I want to add that these principles have been endorsed by the IPU, Interparliamentary Union, that African parliaments are members, and is binding on parliaments or national assemblies in Africa to ensure that they go by these principles. With that, how do we strengthen the relationship between civil society organizations and Parliament? What is the relationship between CSOs and national assemblies? Again, going into the research that CDD Ghana conducted in 2014 and updated in 2021, and also engagement with regional parliaments, so ECOWAS Parliament, East African Legislative Assembly, SADC Parliamentary Forum. All these engagements reveal that there is some kind of antagonistic relationship between parliament and civil society organizations. From the survey and also from the interaction with regional parliaments, CSOs are always perceived by most of parliaments in Africa and members of parliament as intrusive, supporters of opposition parties, and also regime changes. With this kind of perception, how do we as civil society organizations deal with this negative perception in relation to the principles, open parliament principles that I highlighted earlier? First, for me, I think a better understanding of how parliament works will help strengthen the relationship or change the kind of perception that most parliaments in Africa have about civil society organizations. So if we as civil society organizations understand the political context of our respective countries, parliaments in our respective countries, their working methods, and the level of parliamentary familiarity of the work that we also do. How much do they know about the work that we do? If we are able to do this, it will help change the perception and then strengthen the relationship that we have. Again, one suggestion also that I have is that we as civil society organizations, we need to build relationship with key officials. And I think Sameh is there. He will tell you how he's always in parliament and he's able to go to all the units or the offices that he's actually interested in working with. So when you build relationship with leadership of parliament, and leadership, I mean the speaker, the Speaker's Secretariat, the Majority Leader, Minority Leader, the Chief Whips, and also some proactive members of Parliament, and then parliamentary service staff. So the Clerk Secretariat, very key. You need to also develop relationship with the head of the committees, deputy clerk, or the one responsible for that, including committee clerks. If you have good relationship with them and the work that you do, they know it, is easy to help build relationship or have a good working relationship with the Parliament and individual members of Parliament. Again, we as civil society organizations also need to demonstrate policy-specific technical expertise. I always say that we conduct capacity enhancement for Parliament, parliamentary staff, members of Parliament, but we don't build our own capacity. So it is important for us to build our capacity so that we'll be known for policy-specific technical expertise and not to be known as jack of all trades. So if everything we are there commenting, everything we are there saying something about it, if we do that, we will not be known for anything. But if we have built ourselves in a way that they know that if we are looking for this, we need to contact Social Watch. If we are looking for economic issues, we need to contact IREP. If we are looking for social inclusion issues, we need to contact CDD. If we are looking for parliamentary technical work, we need to contact PN Africa. When we develop such expertise, it will be easy for them to trust the work that we do and help erase the wrong perception that Parliament and members of Parliament have about civil society organizations. One key thing that I will also say is that we need to maintain consistency in our work. As civil society organizations, we should exhibit consistency in the work that we do and position that we take on issues of national interest. So today, there's a discussion on the levy, for instance, in Ghana here. What is the position that we have? In the next, maybe different administration will come and the same issue will come up. What will be our position? If we are not consistent in the way maybe we criticize, the way we contribute to issues, it will lead to some kind of erroneous impression or perception by members of Parliament and the Parliament as an institution that, oh, we support one party or one regime against the other. And that is why some of the MPs consider some civil society organizations as regime changes, because when there are bad policies or when there are certain things that the legislature is doing and the government is doing that is not good, we will hammer on it, advocate on it. And then when a different government comes to power or a different leaders are there, then when the same issue come up, we are quiet. When we do that, then the wrong perception that they have about us will go on, and it will not strengthen the relationship that we have with them. It will be very difficult for us to monitor them. It will be difficult for them even to take information that we have actually spent resources to conduct and then use it to support their work. I also advise that we maintain, and I think it's actually in line with the point that I spoke on, maintain strict neutrality. In Africa, it's easy to be tainted with a particular party, or you'll be accused of supporting one party or the other. But if we are neutral and we are consistent in the work that we do, we will receive the same criticisms from all of them when they come to power. And I would say with my years with CDD, We have been accused of being MPP at a point. We have been accused of being NDC at a point. So it tells when that happens, then you feel confident that you are doing the right thing because your work is what you are doing and you don't want to favor any regime or any particular government. So we, as civil society organizations, we should try hard to maintain strict neutrality. If even we, in our hearts, we have some kind of soft spot for a particular government, it shouldn't show in our work. We should do the work as we have to do it so that we can have a very good relationship with the legislature, provide the necessary information that will help strengthen their work for the benefit of the citizens. In conclusion, I would say that as civil society organizations, we have substantial potential to improve policies and programs of parliament or the legislatures through our contribution of expert research information to support the work that they do. And if we are able to strengthen and maintain good working relationship, this will go a long way to strengthen our parliament, and then it will help to strengthen our democracy that we have in Africa. Thank you very much.
Right. Regina, thank you so very, very much. I hope you can clearly hear me.
Yes.
Thank you so very, very much. This has been insightful as always. I must say that at some point, technology failed us in that the team in Cotonou lost their connection. And
sorry.
that's how come, yes, we missed out on the French, but those of us who are online, who are joined as virtual participants from various countries across West Africa, we're still able to go through this. Of course, for the Cotonou team, we will be able to provide them a continuation of the presentation through a translated version so that we can all enjoy this, including sharing the slides with all participants who had joined. And so for those of us who are online, I think at this point, we may want to take a few minutes to see if you have questions. We know that we have crossed the time duration that this meeting is supposed to last because of the technical challenges that were encountered at the beginning. Maybe we'll give ourselves the next couple of minutes, maximum 9 minutes, so that 15 minutes past the hour, we can close this session. If there are any questions, you may want to put them in the chat box. I would read them because this is a webinar. You can only type your questions in the chat box or in the question and answer section, and we'll read them. Our sincere apologies to our Francophone participants who at some point lost the interpretation. These are technical challenges. And networking in West Africa project is that anytime we met up with leaders of parliament, members of parliament, speakers of parliament, and the likes, one of the big things that they keep accusing us in civil society about is that we are partisan. We want to take advantage of our civil society roles to get into political offices. And so we criticize them and criticize them and criticize them just to be able to gain favor. Because in some of the country instances, people who actually set off as civil society officials have metamorphosed into political actors after several years of criticizing. I heard you say in your presentation how maintaining neutrality is important in this work. What will be your advice for any of the countries that have joined us, who have any of the country networks that have joined us, who have the situation of their parliaments perceiving civil society as a group of people who only chastise parliaments because they also want to get political roles and win political offices?
Thank you, Sami. I think my advice for them is that, so Parliament does a lot of things. When they embark on things that are positive, what do we do? do we praise them? Do we talk about it? Are we out there to discuss that? If we only focus on the negatives, I think that is where they will get the understanding that, hey, these guys are out there to actually sabotage us or see us out of Parliament so that they can come and take over. So as we need to be balanced in the work that we do. So when the Parliament does good things, pass legislations that are very progressive, we need to commend them. And in this, I would say, in Ghana, for instance, we struggled with the passage of right to information law. It took a while, years, decades, with the support of civil society organizations. And I must say that PN Africa actually did a great job to help a coalition on this particular bill. Finally, when the bill was passed into law, the coalition actually issued a statement to commend the legislature for passing the law. It's their responsibility. They are supposed to pass laws, but this is something that has been there for years. And if a particular parliament has been able to do it, it is only proper for us to commend them. So we did that. The next time they bring out a bill that we are not happy with, we also chastise them. We let them know that, hey, this is not progressive. This is a law that will send us back to the dark days. So when that happens, then they understand that it's our work that we are doing. But if we only focus on the negatives, then I'm afraid that they will have that kind of perception about us as regime changes. You want to see us out so that you come in. And I must say this has been very, it has happened before in Ghana here, and I'm sure in other places as well. I remember in Nigeria, when we had a session with Open Society for West Africa, we were talking about some civil society people who have actually been, whether to say adopted or whatever, into Parliament. They've actually been taken into Parliament and into government. And the things that when they were outside, they were actually advocating, talking against it. They only get into government. They got into government. Those from Ghana and Nigeria got into government, and they rather were defending why it would not be proper for government to embark on what we together had been advocating for long years. So if we are not consistent, if we only criticize, then it will happen that they will not take us serious. They will consider us to be people who are interested in politics, but rather using civil society as to front our objective.
Very well, Regina. The next one will be that this declaration on parliamentary openness, which touts the principles that you had, eloquently explained, and how we can, plug into specific ones. It appeared to us while we've been on this outreach so far in about 9 of the West African countries, that civil society organizations in these places do not know much about this document, do not even know that it exists. And of course, one civil society does not know, it's quite not strange that parliaments will not know. From your experience, having worked around this document for many, many years, what will be your recommendation to the various networks that has been established as part of this Open West Africa project, and also as part of the West Africa PMO network that CDD Ghana help to facilitate, to coordinate? What will be your recommendation on how we can take advantage of our respective country networks, the West African network, to popularize the principles on parliament?
Thank you, Swami. And again, I must say that is what I said, that as civil society organizations, we continue to build capacity of other institutions, but we do not build our own capacity. It will be appropriate for us as network members to actually champion this declaration, help members to familiarize themselves, understand it. And if members are able to digest these principles and assimilate it, then it will be easy for them to look up to the Parliament and to ensure that Parliament is actually going according to this open principle that they themselves have actually accepted. As I said, it was adopted by IPU, and all members of IPU are supposed to apply all these principles that are in the declaration. So first, we as network members, I think we can use technology to engage ourselves on these principles, discuss it, understand it well, have even countries that have their parliaments using it to share experiences so that we can help others to benefit from the good examples, and then also help their parliaments to, and you are right, most parliaments are not even aware of the existence of this declaration. And I remember our engagement in Madagascar, it was actually news to them that there is some declaration that mandates them to actually embark on all these. So first, we as civil society organizations, if we don't do it, we know our parliament that we have, they will not do it. So we need to educate ourselves first on the declaration, share with members, and then we can have sessions on it for others to explain, share experiences, and then they can also take it up with their various parliaments. And I think we can also make a recommendation to the regional bodies that we have, the regional parliaments, to actually have this declaration as part of their sessional meetings, where they will actually ensure that member countries have actually accepted it and is actually part of their strategic development plan. Hello. Technology. Hello. Rich, I'm done, eh?